What?
Olivia's gonna kill me. All right, so we are getting into game number 1 in a best of 3 semifinals match. I've missed this guy. He took a vacation to Europe. Or sorry, to Egypt, excuse me. He's from Europe. Took a vacation to Egypt. Then he came back and unfortunately had to forfeit yesterday's tournament for whatever reason that we don't know. But it's good to see him fighting once again. In the top left side of Frozen Temple, we've got the Red Zerg. Acer... Nope. On Fire's Bly.
Nope. In the bottom right, as the Green Protoss, he is KingCobra.
Alright, so again, we haven't seen a lot of these maps. We can take a look at Frozen Temple as well for the first time as we quickly look around. Your main base, reasonably sized, nothing too crazy. Natural's not looking too bad either. It's very small, actually, like an incredibly small natural that I think, as a Terran player, just looking at a glance, I don't love, because you're not going to be able to put barracks and factories down here very easily, aside from your wall off, I guess. Thirds and fourths, that's potentially a huge friggin' choke. Thirds and fourths, I don't know, exposed on both ends. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of Orbital Shipyard, but without an easy to obtain third. But in that same logic, where expanding further and further into the game is more difficult. Also,
Sure.
Do you see the really stupid face on this map?
No.
Oh,
I see a simulator.
Yeah, the assimilator gets stolen. That's kind of cool to see if they have gas steel. But look over here.
It looks like he's... Oh my god, no. That's... Oh, I would find like...
That's like a really happy face. Like,
That is the face that SpongeBob makes when he finds out Scooter likes Krabby Patties. I'm gonna go look that up.
You need to put that screenshot out for this one.
Oh my good god. So, I was gonna talk about the fact that, Fear Dragon played on this, you know. Oh my god, he's going for a cannon rush.
Wow.
And, Fear Dragon actually took in the wrong base, and I was gonna talk about, you know, how you're gonna expand, but that's not really a problem in this game.
So, this is really weird for me, though, because this comes off the back end of a gas steal, and I thought, okay, if he's going to go for a gas steal, he doesn't want to get, like, Roach Ravagered all day, and he'll just, like, play at home safe, but I guess too busy looking at the map, I didn't even see the forge get built, but damn, this is going to be nasty, because he puts cannons on the high ground, too. Now, you cannot get cannons in range of that hatchery. That's the advantage creep provides. But the idea is that you knock down the natural, and then you continue to push into the main. Bly's only have a small amount of units to deal with this, and if you've got, like, 7 cannons on the high ground, frankly, they'll do well against Lings and Roaches early on.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that changes it is Ravagers could, like, duck in and duck out, but...
It's still going to take a long time, and it's going to hurt Bly either way to make this actually work out for him.
Yeah.
Upside the map tries to get a cannon down, but 2 Lings are actually going to get by this, but 2 Lings are not that dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying, but it's not a big deal. I do want to note that KingCobra got here to the semifinals off of a fairly weak bracket, to be honest. So, I don't mean to say this to, like, to BM the guy or anything like that, but that if this guy had beaten Tefl and, like, a laser beforehand, you know, Bly's either thinking, like, this guy's a really good Protoss player or he's a cheesy Protoss player.
By the way, this cannon rush has not actually worked out yet, by the way. Bly's actually cleaning this up. Ravager goes down, unfortunately, because that was not controlled very well. But the high ground's cleared out. He's going to try and get these Roaches and Lings to the low ground and take out the cannons down there. But, I mean, this actually doesn't look this doesn't look half bad for KingCobra. Or, sorry, for Bly, excuse me.
For Bly, right. I mean, it looks like his hatchery could just be targeted, and it probably should be targeted. Gets the Ravager before going down. Oh my good god, it's so close. Oh, it's gonna go down.
Okay, so he actually gets the hatchery, which... It's still hard to call this cost-effective. Probe? Hello?
Yeah. I was gonna say that, I mean, now Bly knows, too, right? Like, KingCobra had one opportunity where you had no idea how he got to the brackets, because he beat people that we don't really know, like Emperor M, he got walked over Morkta, like, we don't really know what he does. Now that we know that he's a cannon rusher, or at least this time he was, Bly should be a little more on guard, but he's dealt with it even without knowing very well, and I'm not sure how KingCobra is going to be able to mac her out of this. I mean, he's got the Nexus, he is trying to mac her out of it, and he'll probably do an okay job to begin with, but what can Bly do to really punish him for that cannon rush?
I mean, he's going for Roaches and Ravagers to pick away at the front of the base, which, I don't know, maybe gets a little bit of damage done, but I was thinking more things like Overlord, like elevators, because there's not going to be anything in the main. He knows there's not going to be an army because it was a dedication of cannons. So I feel like if he had just morphed an Overlord and actually walked these guys up to the high ground, it would have been really easy peasy, but it is 1 sentry and a photon overcharge to stop this. It's really not that threatening. Bly can easily break this wall.
Yeah.
Like, it is actually like a cannon. That's it. Like,
would love to get the Mothership Core to stop it from hammering away at these, but it gets the cannon. force field isn't there, and they just walk on by.
No energy for Photon Overcharge, but the pylon's going to go down either way. Working so hard to take down these Ravagers, they will kill some of the probes. Bly takes his natural base behind this while this goes on. And give thanks to you...
Oh!
Okay.
That was close.
Yeah. Gotta give some thanks to Sugared Coat, excuse me, for resubbing as well.
Sugar-coated cereal.
I love everyone in chat, by the way. KingCobra, save us from ZvZ. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, guys. Like, I'm not rooting against Bly on this one. I'm rooting against Zerg. But I just realized, by the way, not Scion, because it's not Scion, guys, was subscriber 1,169.
Again.
It's
the third one.
We keep bleeding off like a couple of subscribers every day.
69
so...
with 3 people, you know?
Well, I mean, if you do the math... Alright, so the front wall does get set back up, and these Ravagers are actually going to take some hits from the pylon, but walks right by it, so again, denying mining, and almost gets hits on the Mothership Core again. But for Bly, this was really not committal. I mean, this was the same 5 Ravagers from a few minutes ago. He didn't have to build more behind this. He went for a third base, he went for more drones, so his economy should be not only recovered, but looking better than his opponent in a few moments. But I do look at this for KingCobra and think, okay, that Void Ray is not because he wants to attack. Like, he's scared of more coming his way.
For sure, for sure. I mean, the extra cannons, too, he knows who he's playing against. He's actually turtling on 2 base, which is not a good sign. Not in Legacy of the Void. In Heart of the Swarm, I would totally believe in a follow-up bullshit, you know, after you turtled. Like, that happened all the time, but Legacy of the Void, even if you stop Bly from doing his, you know, abusive overload drops, there's other things to worry about. You know, the fact that you're not pressuring Bly, so he's going to have a third base and he's not going to have much trouble droning. The fact that, you know, you still have to worry about a follow-up push and you're not really on any tech yet.
So, the face we saw earlier has been made better. Jen always tweets out a picture of an Ewok that looks like that stupid face.
That was pretty perfect.
Why do all the new maps have dumbass-looking faces?
Maybe it didn't look hard enough on the old maps.
I feel like my brain is one of those things that, like, the first thing I'm going to notice is something that looks weird like that. It's not going to be something that was, like, well hidden. But okay. Anyways, Void Ray is coming across the map, and we have a fleet beacon, curiously enough. I mean, was this 2 base carriers or something? Because who goes Tempest in this situation? But the Void Ray, I think, would have had potential if Bly was playing super greedy and didn't get a Hydrant in, wasn't building Queens, and just trying to drone like a madman. But 2 Queens can easily take on a Void Ray, and this is unfortunately not going to get a lot done.
Yeah, Tempests don't even look that abusive on this map. If it was Detox, it would be like, yeah, there's a ton of abusive positions, but there is actually a lot of open space here. The real trick is the rocks, which, you know, I guess the Tempest can go over, but aren't too bad to break for Bly, who's going into Hydras right now. Double Stargate, again, something that, like, in Heart of the Swarm, I'd be like, okay, triple Stargate could last you quite a while on 2 bases, but Legacy of the Void, KingCobra's gonna start running out of minerals. I mean, he might have a couple of, you know, some gas left over, but those minerals will go down real quick, and it is going to be Tempest. Amazing.
I mean, there are so many aspects of this map where I can get behind the idea of Tempest, but 3 Stargates off of 2 base economy? I'm sorry, I don't buy that for a second.
Right? That's a lot of Hydras, and unfortunately Tempest is not out yet. The cannons don't do so badly, to be honest, especially if you have any fodder with them to the Hydras, but you're going to need more than just 2 cannons. If all 5 or 6 of the cannons he has at the front line, I don't think Bly would actually bust it, but they are unfortunately trying to defend against drops that aren't incoming.
Look, I am your fodder.
Yeah. He needs time, and, well, he has at least 1 Tempest now.
Yeah. 1 Tempest actually spooks Bly for a moment, but I really don't think you should be too worried
Yeah,
about
he's like, what the fuck?
I know, it was that moment where you're like, oh, how many are there behind this? Oh, right, 1.
So I think it was their carriers.
But yo,
like,
KingCobra actually takes a third while this goes on. The ball's on this guy! Jeez.
I don't know, man. Bly at 58 drones is fine there. Okay, he's gonna go up to more and probably go to 4th base. Like, why not? Like, the chances of him taking so long to kill KingCobra, like KingCobra actually comes back with mass air, is very low. Very. But I guess there is a possibility. Like, KingCobra already getting his 3rd base up is something that should not have happened. That's what I said, he's a good carrier.
I know, It
could, but I don't, like, Bly should not let it happen.
Here's the silly thing about carriers, right? Like, versus Corruptor's carriers are garbage. But versus Hydra's carriers actually aren't too bad. The problem is there's already so many Hydras that they're just going to shoot the interceptors out of the air with relative ease. But, the Voiders are denying fourth. They're being annoying. They kept the Hydras... it bought him time. Because Hydras did all chase to the north side of the map. So there's so many aspects of this where KingCobra... he's
still prepared.
Oh, okay, well, he gets overexposed. I was gonna say, I like his ideas, and I like the logic of what was coming, but it's not going to work. Not how far into this... I mean, Bly recognizes this, too. He's going for Corruptors. That's the whole point of that Spire. And for those who don't know, the reason Corruptors are so good, it's not because they deal bonus damage to Massive, it's because they're armored, and Interceptors hit for dick against things that are armored.
The Hydra's on top of the third, which was that was the one thing that was a little worrying, was that Bly was not checking the third, which was killing it. So if KingCobra had gotten away with it, that would have been... He would have been able to get to a surprising amount of carriers. A winnable amount? No. Because even in a normal game, if you get to only carriers, you're not doing it correctly. You need something on the ground. You need Archons and Storms and Oracles to get the vision for your Tempest. The Mass Armada is actually really good, but in addition to Splash.
So here's a bit of a problem, right? Let's say for a moment he had not even gotten that third, not gotten away with it, whatever. The point of it still being that Bly... I mean, this is all a bit silly, but I think the problem I have with this situation isn't actually who's winning or losing. But here we are on these new maps where we want to see cool tactics come out, and you go for air toss off of back end of a cannon rush. We did not get to explore new things here on Frozen Temple. We got to see the equivalent of Parting just doing his blink all in, right? Okay, cool, that works on any map. You didn't really show us the map, but...
Well, hey, we learned that this is probably not a good strategy in general.
Well, actually...
Late game PvZ.
I liked the idea of the Tempest, truth be told, because there's a lot of areas where it's hard to actually get the Hydras from the low ground up here to get across the rocks. There's a lot of areas on this map where I could actually see the long range of the Tempest or siege tanks or you name it actually work, depending on positional advantage. But carriers, on the other hand, don't provide that at all, and he's just looking to dogfight with units that are very expensive, and I don't know if they'll work.
I actually disagree with, I brought up Detox as something that I would like Tempests on. There's a lot of spots that have towers and a lot of ramps and a lot of chokes that you could run away from really quickly. I mean, there's a couple of spaces that are ledges, obviously, but...
He's gonna move out. I don't know.
There are also a ton of open spaces, and there's just never gonna be opportunity where I see, okay, he's gonna have to... If he makes it to this point, he should be okay. I'm never gonna see that on this map. So even here, as he runs away, Bly's gonna get so many Hydras and Corruptors, just gonna sandwich him. Well, or use Vipers.
Yep. He dumped out the Interceptors, which was kind of cool to see. The Hydras end up focusing on those so they don't actually kill the carriers that were abducted. And a little bit awkward, but still Bly just taking it better into this fight. Tempest having their range nullified thanks to abducts. Yoink, yoink, yoink! And GG gets called.
GG.
I will say, an entertainingly different type of game, but Bly does take that first map rather convincingly. But if we can be honest for a moment, that cannon rush actually did look scary. For a moment, you're kind of oh, Bly was not expecting that. We weren't expecting that. Does he get away with it?
Yeah. And by the way, the opponents that he beat to get here have confirmed that KingCobra just really does cheese a lot. So.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with that. We could use a little bit of different play, but due to the restart and all these other things, guys, we haven't actually played ads in a while, so we're going to play a commercial break while we get this next lobby set up, and then we should be back on course for just between series. So we'll see you guys in 2 minutes with more of the Corsair Cup when we return. Alright, back with a bit of a more standard map from the old map pool. It was his choice for selection. In the bottom left side, we've got the green Protoss, KingCobra.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, it is Bly cheesing the cheeser.
How does one beat a cheeser? One must become the cheeser.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not too surprising, really. I mean, it's a little bit revenge. Oh, this is a funny wall off. But it's also just Bly, you know?
Well, that's not necessarily just a wall off, though.
It's going to be a diagonal wall to a third. He's really preempting me. I'm going to take a third.
By the way, gotta give a shout to Spax. Says he just ordered a Corsair Gaming Strafe RGB Cherry Red today. Buddy, make sure you tweet us a picture when you get it so we can retweet it and give you some love. Awesome to see. Of course, we haven't really talked about it because a lot of other stuff's been going on today, but this tournament, the Corsair Cup, obviously sponsored by Corsair. If you guys haven't checked it out, click on the links down below on our Twitch page because they'll take you to the store. You can look at their gear, and even if you don't plan on buying anything, which I hope you do because it's all quality gear, you can at least see some stuff that we may be able to give away in the future, which is kind of awesome. But I stand by these headsets 100%. Like, every single time anyone asks me about Corsair Gear, like, I like everything. I've got nothing negative to say, but I love the headsets.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is very awkward, as KingCobra obviously knows what's going on, so he put in a pylon in both locations. Bly only takes care of one. Hasn't scouted that's a forge yet, but KingCobra's not going for the cannon rush anymore. He slapped down a natural at his third, so the diagonal wall off that we would see usually at a third, it makes sense, but it's at his natural, and it's like it's not usually two adepts, a sentry are kind of in the spot the probe is, and it looks fine. Without any extra units, I wonder how fine this is going to be.
Yeah, first blood on the Ling. But I was gonna say though, there's another protest. I'm trying to remember who it is. Someone is actually, I think it's like in the Alima League or something, been doing a little bit more cannon openers for defensive purposes. Oh, this is dirty. This is dirty. So this one cannon will probably get to complete. He cancels over here on this side to try and maybe get out. He's just baiting the Lings away from the pylon. That's actually kind of clever.
Well, Bly just try and race home with the rest of his Lings. Aren't able to do anything because of the cannon on the defense. Only one cannon should be something you can sacrifice Lings to kill. It's worth keeping this base alive. He actually cancels his third base that he was getting to get a Roach Warren and a Spinecrawler. So to lose this one is really, really bad.
One of the problems with KingCobra right now, though, is he does only have one cannon's worth of DPS, and it's not going to cut it. That probe's got to put some more down. The second cannon looks like it will get killed. He traps the Lings in. Kind of silly to see, but looks like this cannon will hold. And actually, the probe getting targeted by the Queen is a great move, because now that cannon will not be able to get too much more done. Not with the advancing line. So cancels the other one, realizing, yeah, that's not going to work. Back at home, just trying to get that natural base set up. Which, again, is weird to have that be the natural, because I feel like you could still do this opener, but at the top of your ramp, it'd be way more safe for it.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I guess if your harassment is good, then you have a safe third, just like a Zerg would have. And that, if they did go into the mid game, that would be a huge boon for KingCobra. But will it go into the mid game? You know, Bly gets the roaches out. He can now attack with them, turn them into Ravagers, poke away at the cannon, just like last game. This looks a little bit weird because the wall off's here. It's not a real wall off, you know. The roaches could theoretically just try and bypass the cannon, but that sentry's there to both save the cannon, hopefully, as well as stop them from going up the ramp. Like, he actually has a pretty important job besides just killing an overlord.
Yeah, thank you, Chaos Master 21 for the 15-month return on that sub. But yeah, the Ravagers are a great choice out of Bly. It's the fact that you can duck in and duck out. You don't have to commit too much. The Mothership Core will be annoying. Don't think he'll go for sniping it, but he should be able to tear down these walls relatively easy. Actually almost catches that Roach. Tries to shoot into a Ravager. Mothership Core, please! Shoot it again!
Yeah, there you go. So there goes the cannon, and I don't think she has another Photon Overcharge yet. Oh, she does not.
But I wanted to dive in a little bit early trying to snipe out that sentry. But that's the problem. You can't force field out Ravagers. They can just corrosive bottle the force field. So Bly could actually break this down and go up the ramp. Uses the damage instead to take out more pylons. I mean, KingCobra's not exactly in super danger of being supply blocked, but he's in danger of having his warp gate depowered, and that's where this starts falling apart for him. So Bly, maybe he's played him before, maybe just knows how to deal with this, but he handles this pretty damn well in 2 different games.
Right. I mean, that's very simple. Well, cannon rushes in general have really changed thanks to Legacy of the Void, and Ravagers have really changed up a lot of the cheesiness and all-ins that are provided by Protoss. I mean, they were a good answer to the gripes of Heart of the Swarm Protoss. They broke Force Field, which was a big deal, and they stopped that Sentry Warp Prism shenanigan thing from happening, which was the biggest gripe, and they provide some really nice counter pressure without a lot of commitment. In Heart of the Swarm, these would just be roaches, you know, and the Nexus cannon would go down, and they wouldn't be doing very much at all. But it's 4 Ravagers doing a lot here.
Thank you, chat. By the way, it's Tails. Tails is the guy that's been doing some of the Forge Expand stuff. And while Tails hasn't been winning European Cups, he's been getting to the semifinals and the quarterfinals, and I think Forge has a place in the game right now. I just don't think it's the prominent place that it was once before, where it was every game you had to go, like, Forge Fast Expand, because it's the best way to play.
Yeah, well,
there's also something to be said. Like, you've got so many more minerals in the early game. Like, you actually, like, it's not a bad way to spend them either. Like, going for a small cannon rush, if you don't over dedicate, you spend like maybe 450, 500 minerals over there. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I guess there's multiple reasons to why Forge first.
No, why would you not do that, man?
Oh, there we go. This just fell out of style. I do like how Tails does it, because he only ever does it if he scouts an early pool, but there certainly is a reason that most pros aren't going for Forge. And I really do miss the option, because even in the Heart of the Swarm, both were very viable options. The Forge Fast Expand or the Gateway Expand, and the Forge Fast Expand led itself into, you know, the +1 attacks and whatnot, led into +2 Blink Stalker, and was really quite useful. But especially with the way KingCobra is playing, that Forge isn't very useful besides the 2 cannons he made. He's going for the third base, which is very safe, so kudos to him. That is a very safe, full mining base, and that Fleet Beacon. So, you know, Golden Armada, here we go.
I mean, I don't think Skytoss is bad. I know that, for goodness sake, we were doing Skytoss, like, in Archon mode, for example, for months. But it did come down to the fact that, like, Corruptors were just such an easy solution. Well, I went Hydras last time. He's doing Hydras again, and that's fine. But whether it's Vipers subducting to the Hydras or whether it's just Corruptors en masse, like, Sky Protoss doesn't work that good early on. But when you've got it bulked up, you've got some Temple underneath it. When it's like the late game Sky Protoss, it is almost unbeatable. But if it's not maxed out, if you don't have the proper support on the ground, they're just very expensive targets that are easily killed.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the power of Dusk Towers, though, is that last map you couldn't get a third base up. Getting a third base not only up, but kind of easily, there's much aggression beside those Ravagers, means that he has a chance to not only get triple star deep, but also the Templar Archives, you know? Like, that's actually a really important detail to get some Archons underneath the Golden Armada for that splash. But Bly has a lot of time until that maxed army comes out, and he's going to use that time wisely, you know? Like, same as you play against a mech player, you start expanding, you start upgrading, you get all the tech available, and, you know, just get ready to meet their army head-on with a better army.
No, Forge gonna get taken down, but that's not that big of a deal this late into the game. 3 Tempests en route, and 3 Tempests might not be too bad to hold this, but can he survive long enough to actually get them out? Sentry's already retreating to the high ground. It looks like he's just resolving to... I can't even recall, actually. He's just resolving to lose the third base, I guess.
There's that Tempest. It's going to try and help. I mean, losing the Forge, I think he'll want to recreate that. It's going to be the easiest defense as he uses all of his gas for the air and Archons. You just throw down cannons for like a third or a fourth, but actually forced to pull the probes. Tempest are doing the damage fast enough.
It's actually good that he gets the probes out alive. If he lost his third base and the probes, that's terrible. But the fact that he's kind of like... No, not bad. Not bad. Loses the Nexus worst case scenario, but he's not even going to lose it by the looks of it.
No. Doesn't look that way. Bly is starting to do, like, expansions are up, 4th base, 5th base. His drone count should probably be higher as you're going to accrue that bank. But he's still committing to these Hydralisk across the map, which looks pretty silly. You usually don't see Hydras being the reinforcement line, but they do have their upgrades. And they are taking on the Tempests.
I mean, one of them's almost going down. He's got to pull the probes to keep them back. Tempest does fall. Carriers are on the way. Problem with carriers, though, is they don't believe you got Graviton Catapults, so they're actually going to be kind of garbage.
No. Yeah, it's going to take a while. 15 more Hydras. Bly sees an opportunity just to end the game without having to go into Corruptors, without having to back off.
Ling Flood would be fantastic here. I mean, the Hydras are good for killing the air, but Tempest fire so slow, they take so long to clean up any amount of Lings that came across the map. And in fact, I would argue being more cost-effective than Hydras, because as we see Hydras, they're slowly being chipped away.
Yeah. This was the best opportunity KingCobra probably had to get a very healthy third base, very safe. I think the natural is going to be fine. He was as well set up as he could be to go straight into a air toss, but it still didn't work.
I like the idea for the storms. I mean, if it is going to be mass Hydra and nothing else, if it's going to be Vipers, you feedback, you storm, your Templar will keep your air army alive. And that's kind of what we were talking about before. But now we have Corruptors coming out. This presents 2 different problems. On one side of it, like, the Corruptor count is actually going to be very not good versus, say, Void Rays. But this army is so heavily comprised of what's going to be just Carriers, just Tempest. Like, we're not going to see a lot of Void Rays to protect these units. Guardian Shield gets popped, and it will actually help the air mitigate some of that Hydra damage, but you know, KingCobra's not taking his third anytime soon.
Oh, shit. Nope.
If Storm were done, of course, Storm's on the ramp would be fantastic. I think that might be his last force field. No, he's got one more in him. Just trying to kite around this choke.
Oh god. Oh god. That was painful. I'm good now though.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Bly is now going into those Corruptors. And with only 2 Void Rays, the Corruptors should just be able to get into a high enough number to really take this out.
Yeah, and
I mean, having Storms too is impressive to kind of sneak out there, but
I like this better than the Vipers too, because with Templar out, he would have been hit with feedbacks and they wouldn't have worked for him at all. But tries to take a pretty decent fight. Storms go on top of all the Hydras, but there's just not enough Interceptors in the world to keep these from killing what's left. Corruptors, of course, going ham. That one Void Ray going nuts on that one Corruptor, as we see pretty damn good, but only so few available. Archon's going to try and merge in, but that's not going to work. GG gets called, and Bly will take the series. Congratulations. So that will put Bly in the finals. But let's not forget, KingCobra actually gets $10 for getting this far in the tournament. So, you know, it's nice to have an amateur win a couple of bucks. Cheesy or not, that's what the Cannons earned him. Next matchup's going to be ZvZ, and of course the finals is going to be ZvZ. It's going to be a Laser versus Hydra up next. We're going to be starting once again on Frozen Temple, so we'll get to see a ZvZ on that map. Going to go to a small commercial break, though, before we get into that lobby, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.